Good morning, friends, and welcome to Real Life with Andrea. Today's real life is tough. So it is almost noon on a Monday morning. It is rainy. It is cold. The dogs are full of mud. People want to come visit. My floors are full of mud. My basement has water in it. I have 20 loads of laundry to do. And there is just too much to do in today. So what do I do? Well, I took a 20-minute shower. I am sitting in my chair looking out the window. I literally feel paralyzed by the amount of work that needs to be done. So far, I have cleaned my kitchen floor, mopped and everything, covered it with mats so that it doesn't get muddy again, although that makes laundry. I moved my puppies from downstairs to upstairs so that I could clean downstairs their area and their mats. I've done 4 loads of laundry, and I have had people come over and visit. So I guess it's been a bit. Oh, and I talked to my sister for a while this morning, which it has been a long time, and that was a needed conversation. So I guess when I look at the list, I have done quite a bit this morning, but there's just still so much to do that it feels overwhelming. And reality check is, even at the beginning of the day, had I not taken a break, had I not taken a shower, had I not sat in my chair to do this right now, I still could not possibly have accomplished all the things that need to be done today. I need to give 18 puppies a bath today. Well, realistically, the 3 larger ones take an hour and a half apiece, and the little ones take 20 to 30 minutes apiece. So let's see, that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 12 hours right there if I do nothing else. 12 hours of puppy bathing. Really? That's the whole day. So, how do you make your to-do list in the morning and remain realistic? You have to put everything on the list. But how do you not let that list make you crazy? Especially when you have older children who could help you with that list, but they really are more work than it's worth sometimes. So my oldest son, not my oldest child, but my oldest son today, I called him down and I said, we didn't do our Saturday cleaning this week. We need to do some things today. We need to get that basement clean because it's wet. We need to get the garbage out. Tomorrow's garbage day. And I'm going down this list and I'm with him. And he's like, Mom, those aren't my responsibilities. I was like, I lost it. Do you live in this house? Do you benefit from this? On and on and on. Until he finally said to me, Mom, I'm not going to yell with you. And he walked out. Which I have to say, good job, son, because he was right. We did not need to be yelling about this. It's hard when your kids get to be adults and they don't step up the way you expect them to. They're trying to be their own person and do their own thing, and they want to manage and maintain their own time. On the flip side, when mom is doing everything else, here's the thing. Each of my children has one job to do that is supposed to be their responsibility, from remembering to do it to doing it, the whole shebang. None of them do it. None of them. So they'll say, well, I took out the garbage last week. No, actually, you took out the kitchen garbage, but you didn't take out the bathroom garbages. You didn't take out the basement garbage. You didn't take out the office garbage. And I had to tell you to go take out the garbage because it was garbage day. So how is that you doing your responsibility? So you expect me to do my chores without you reminding me to do them? We've been having this conversation for the last 3 years. Longer than that, really, on many things. But we'll just say 3 years. How do I maintain joy, peace, calm, grace, mercy, gentleness? It's crazy making. I don't know. What's the consequences? Here's the thing. The consequences, they don't really matter. There's nothing, no consequences that seem to make a dent in helping them to understand that this, when you have a responsibility, that it's your responsibility to do from start to finish. Nobody should have to remind you to go to work. Nobody should have to remind you to take out the garbage. Nobody should have to remind you what it means to take out the garbage. I don't know. So that is my frustration. That is my frustration now with my older children. Well, I stacked the dishwasher 6 days ago. Well, thank you for that. But how does that help me today? How does that help that garbage day is tomorrow? And if we don't get the garbage out, then we have extra garbage for another week. And ladies and gentlemen, my garbage stinks because of the dogs. We cannot keep garbage for an extra week. And then there's the recycling. I say, take out the recycling, and don't forget, anything that is not in the can has to be broken down. And I look outside, and the recycling is out at the street. None of it is broken down. And when I say something, I get a bad attitude. They're not going to take that away because it's not broken down. I told you this already today. Not to mention the million times over the last 2 years. Why should I have to do that? That's part of the job. When you go to work and they tell you what your job is, do you backtalk them? No, you don't. You do the job. Do they have to remind you to do your job? No, they don't. They don't call you and tell you you need to leave for work in half an hour. They don't call you and tell you, don't forget, you need to wear appropriate attire. You go to work, you respect your boss, you do your thing. Why doesn't that apply at home? We raise our kids. They go out in the world, they do great things, but they come home and they're still like kids. Well, anyway, all this is not really about my kids as much as it's about me. How do I maintain a sense of calm in the face of that conflict? So I'm working on it, but it goes back to joy. It goes back to spending time with the Lord. It goes back to remembering all the things that I do wrong every single day with respect to my relationship with the Lord that I don't get right, like yelling at my kid. You know, I don't get it right, and I want God to remind me not to yell at my kid. When am I going to get it right? How do we transfer what we want from God and show that same grace and mercy to our children? And I get that we're not going to be as perfect as God. You know, we can make excuses all day long, but having a mindset that where we are going to take what God gives us, we're going to let it fill our cup, and that's what's going to overflow out of us, even in a conflict situation where it's like, well, here, let's talk through this. I understand, so how can we work together to make this better? And even if that conversation isn't going the way that you want, how do you show God's love to your children and discipline at the same time? Like, I feel like sometimes they're not synonymous, and they should be, because God's discipline is love. And do my kids need to feel like I love them for me to be loving them? No, not necessarily. When I send my kids to their room for whatever it is that's wrong, I know that they don't feel like I love them. But one day when they get older, they're going to realize that all of those consequences for their actions were loving them by trying to teach and train them how to be in a better relationship with people, how to do what they need to do, how to be responsible, etc. How do I move past the fact that I feel like my 19-year-old son should already have gotten this message? Lord help me. So as I am looking at my book this morning and talking about what should we do in order to remember the truth that we have Jesus living inside of us and we have access to his deep and abiding joy. Well, first of all, the book says we need to make sure that we're a Christian. So I know that I am a Christian. I am a child of God. I believe that I am a sinner. I believe that Jesus came to earth. He died on the cross. He rose again, and he paid the price for all my sin, past, present, and future. And there is no sin that I can commit that will keep me from being able to share in his joy of eternity. However, my sins that I commit now, they do create broken relationship, just like with my children. There's broken relationship when my kids disrespect me, when they disrespect my rules, when they don't care about the status of our home and maintaining their responsibilities, right? There's broken relationship. So I can still have broken relationship with God, but that doesn't change that I know that I'm a child of God, that he loves me, he cares for me, he sees me, and he died for my sins. I am a child of God. Number 2 is to be able to admit our failures. I fail so much, and I don't think I admit all my failures because sometimes I don't recognize things as failures, most likely. But I failed huge this morning in the conversation with my son. I had no patience, no grace, and no mercy for him, and I told him that. I told him that I knew that I blew it and that I was sorry, and I hope that he could forgive me for that. It didn't change the truth of what was happening, but the way that I communicated to them and the way that I treated him was where I failed. Third, we need to surrender our mind to Christ daily. And boy, this is something that we need to do first and foremost in the morning. We need to start off our day surrendering our mind to Christ, asking him to give me that single mind, that submissive mind, that spiritual mind that focuses on the things of heaven, the things that last, and the secure mind, reminding me that there is nothing that I can do to take me out of relationship with Jesus, that he is my Father, that God is my Father for now and forever. So being able to surrender my mind to Christ daily is an important part of this. And then looking for opportunities to put my mind to work on these things. We need to practice single-mindedness. We need to practice submissive mind. We need to practice the spiritual mind. These things, just like anything we do, playing the piano, learning to knit and crochet and all these things, the only way that we are going to improve is by practicing, looking for opportunities to put our mind and our hearts into practice. And then from what we put in, from the overflow of the joy that we have from what we do and how we practice, is where other people are going to reap the benefit of your time with God. So that is where the fruit of the Spirit will begin to reveal themselves in your life, showing your practice, showing the time you're spending with God, showing the time you're going to be that you have spent in his word. And for some people, this is a lot easier than others. I am a quick, hot-tempered person. And so when I am not conscientious and thinking about these things, going into a conversation that I might know that is conflict, praying before I go into that conversation, and continuing to put my mind to work on these things during the conversation, it is easy for me to lose it. So if I want the fruit of the Spirit to show in my life, I have to keep my mind continuously thinking about these things. The spiritual mind, the submissive mind, the single-mindedness, thinking on the Lord, and how do you want me, Lord, to be acting and reacting in this circumstance? And that is not an easy thing, because we begin to take things for granted when things are going well, and then something happens and bam, we're right back where we started. So friends, if you want to look it up, the fruit of the Spirit is in Galatians 5:22, which is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. I feel like I missed one, but against such things there is no law, and the Lord wants our lives to show this fruit. So let's walk with Him every day, every minute of every day. I hope that this was encouraging to someone. I know it kind of started off as a complain fest, but I really did need to set up the idea that this is something that I struggle with on a very, very regular basis. And I think as long as my feet are walking on this earth, if I am not being conscientious of this, I will struggle with it, because it is the personality and attitude that God gave me. And there are benefits to that personality. It isn't all negative. I mean, I'm able to make a quick decision. I'm also able to hop on things and get them done. So my quick temperedness, my quick attitude, and all of that can be a positive thing. But on those negative things, I really need to be sure that I am focused on the Lord. So pray for me, and I'll pray for you. You have a great day.